Welcome to another lecture in the series. In this lecture, let us wind up Unit 3. Let us practice some numericals on variance analysis. Let us see the questions one by one. For making 10 kg of Gemco, the standard material requirement is given as for A 8 kgs, for B 4 kgs. So it is for 10 kilograms of Gemco. Keep that in mind. See. Then, during April, 1000 kg of Gemco was produced, and the actual consumption of material is given to us for material A and B, and we need to find out material cost variance, price variance, and usage variance. Let us see the solution. First of all, let us do the basic calculation. Standard for 1000 kg, let us calculate. It is 800. Why? Because for 10 kilograms, we require 8 kgs. For 1 kilogram, we require 800 grams. Right? 0.8 kg. So for that reason it is 800 here and it's 400. We can multiply it with the rate given to us and obtain the amount here. For actual, for 1000 kg, some values are given to us. We can just simply multiply them and find the value. Now let us calculate the variances. First of all, material cost variance. Standard cost for actual output minus the actual cost. We can calculate, put the values, and we are able to see that there is an adverse variance. Then material price variance, standard price minus the actual price into the actual quantity. So we can compare the prices for both the materials and see that both are going average adverse because the price has got risen up, and we are able to find out a material price variance, adverse material price variance of rupees 1250. For material usage variance, the formula is standard quantity minus the actual quantity into the standard price. So we can put the quantities and check out that for material A it is favorable, whereas for material B it is not favorable, it is adverse. And finally your material usage variance is also coming out to be adverse. Next question, the standard material cost to produce 1 ton of chemical X is given to us, that is 300 kg of material A at the rate rupees 10 per kg, 400 kg of material B at the rate rupees 5 per kg, 500 kilogram of material C at the rate rupees 6 per kg. During the period, 100 tons of chemical X were produced for the usage of 35 tons of material A at the cost of rupees 9,000 per ton. Here mind that they are producing, that these standards are given to produce 1 ton, okay, and 42 tons of material B at a cost of rupees 6,000 per ton, 53 tons of material C at a cost of rupees 7,000 per ton. We need to calculate the material variances. Let us see how to calculate. First of all, let us calculate the standard and the actual. The conversion rate is 1 ton, that is 1000 kilograms. Standard for 100 tons, we can find out. It is given, let us see what it was. It is given 300 kilograms at the rate rupees 10 for 1 ton. Okay. So from there we can check out. Here the amount would be 30,000, 40,000 and 50,000 respectively. We can multiply it and obtain the amount here and subtract the loss finally out of the output. Then actual for 100 tons is also given to us. We can calculate that also and can minus subtract the losses there out, and we can check it out. Then further, let us calculate the variances now. Material cost variance, we can see it is adverse standard cost of actual output minus the actual cost. Then material price variance, that is standard price minus the actual price into the actual quantity. We can put the values and find out. We can see that 2 are adverse, 1 is favorable, but finally your material price variance is coming out to be adverse. Material usage or quantity variance, standard quantity minus the actual quantity into the standard price. We can put the values here out and calculate. For material A, B and C, for all of them it is adverse. So material usage variance is coming out to be adverse with rupees 78,000. Then material mix variance, revised standard quantity minus the actual quantity into the standard price. We can calculate the revised standard quantity. Let us see. on the next slide, total quantity, total actual quantity upon total standard quantity into the standard quantity. We can calculate these values and finally use them in the formula. We can put them here one by one and put subtract it from actual quantity and multiply it by the standard prices to obtain adverse variance finally of 11,333. Here material yield variance, actual yield minus standard yield into the standard cost per unit of output. Let us calculate the standard yield and the standard cost per unit of output first of all. For that the formula is total standard cost upon total standard output, and we are able to get it as rupees 8,000 per ton. Standard yield can be calculated by actual output upon the total standard quantity in the total actual quantity, which is coming out as this, and we can use the same here in the formula. Instead of converting it into decimals, we are using it as a fraction only, and we can find out that there is an adverse variance of 66,667. Then for the next question, we are able to see the details regarding the composition and the weekly wage rates of labor force engaged on a job scheduled to be completed in 30 weeks is given to us. Keep a check that as per the standard it is supposed to be 30 weeks. Here we are given with number of workers under 3 grades, skilled, semi-skilled and unskilled, and their wage rates are given to us, and the actual number of workers is also given to us. They are varying. So now let us see. They are saying the work actually completed in 32 weeks. So calculate all the labor variances. So here we do have standard and actual. Let us calculate. So first of all, let us see the weeks, number of workers into the number of weeks. There we do have 30 weeks as the standard, so we can multiply them by 30, and the rate is also given, and finally we can get the amount. Same way as here also, number of weeks and number of workers, but here we need to consider 32 weeks because actually it required 32 weeks to get this work completed, multiplied by the actual rate, and will give you the amount. Let us see the variances now. Labor cost variance, first of all, standard cost minus the actual cost. You can check out that there is an adverse variance of 13,000. For labor cost rate variance, that is standard rate minus the actual rate into the actual time. We can put the values and we can see that two of them are adverse but one is favorable, and finally you are getting an adverse labor rate variance. Then we have labor efficiency variance, that is standard time minus the actual time into the standard rate. We can put the values for all the three categories, and finally we are able to obtain an efficiency variance of 6,600 rupees adverse variance. Then labor mix variance, we have the formula revised standard time minus the actual time into the standard rate. Revised standard time can be calculated using this formula, standard time of the grade upon the total standard time into the actual time. So we can use this formula to calculate the values and we can put them in the question here. Like for skilled it's 2,400, you can see it here, minus the actual time into the standard rate, and you are able to obtain the favorable variance. Same ways for others, and finally we are able to get a labor mix variance which is favorable by rupees 9,600. Then labor efficiency variance, standard time minus the revised standard time into the standard rate. Revised standard time we have just calculated, we have used that, and we are able to see that there is a labor revised efficiency variance of 16,200 adverse. Then labor yield variance is actual yield minus the standard yield into your SOR. Then labor yield variance can be calculated, and it is found to be adverse by 16,200. We can keep a check that labor cost variance must be equal to labor rate variance and labor efficiency variance, which is coming out to be same. Then labor efficiency variance can be checked with LMV and labor revised efficiency variance, or you can say labor yield variance, and which is again coming out to be correct. You can practice more of such questions, and if you face any problem related to that, you may write to me or contact me. Till then, practice well, study well. In the next video lecture, we will be beginning with our unit 4.